10 million species. Each one are remarkable. All life depends upon beautiful connection. None can survive without a relation. Why plants need a rain or a light? Why certain animals grabbing, catching, chewing, biting, and certain hunting like swallows? And how microbes survive? Why ourselves, human beings, need crops to grow? Why we domesticate certain animals? Yes, the food. And the nutrition. Hi students, I am Bazi from Meslova DG classroom. In previous class, we discussed about a peculiar and specially those which prepare their own food material, that is autotrophic nutrition is discussed. Now we have to discuss about another mode of nutrition in organisms, especially in animals. You know, this planet is filled with diversified and varieties of animals, birds, fishes, and also in microbes also a diversified varieties of microbes are there. Every organism having its special type of feeding mechanism and special type of intake of food patterns. You know, if you observe the organisms like mushrooms or certain mycelia or fungi present on the sliced bread or in pickles or rotten barks of the trees, if you observe certain mycelia and fungi and mushrooms are grown on those surfaces, they are feeding on dead and decay material. They are getting food directly from those and dead and decay matter. This type of feeding mechanism is present in certain organisms like these mushrooms, fungi, etc. And this type of feeding mechanism called as saprophytic type of feeding mechanism. Whereas if you see the saprophytes, like for example in previous classes you studied that amoeba is one of the example. It is having a special type of finger like grooved structures on its body surface called as pseudopodia. It grabs entire food material through its pseudopodia and forms into a food vacuole through which it absorbs and digests the complex matter and convert into simple form, and it absorbs through its body surface through food vacuole. You know, this process of intake of food material, especially in amoeba, we called it as saprophytic type of feeding mechanism. Especially in amoeba, paramecium or like unicellular microbes or fungi, mushrooms, they are taking food through this pattern. How many of you sick by mosquito bites? Maximum of us suffers of mosquito bites. And you know, the mosquitoes which are sucking blood directly from our body and they are taking ready-made food. Not only the mosquitoes, the leeches, and also if you see certain worms like present in our intestine like tapeworm, roundworm, and these worms are also taking ready-made food present in our intestine. You know, these organisms are called as parasites, and this feeding mechanism is called as parasitic mode of nutrition, because they are directly taking ready-made food. And even in certain plants are also parasitic in nature. For example, dodder, which belongs to a genus Cuscuta, and this dodder plant having the special type of root system, that is hyostoria, which penetrates into the host plant and it sucks water and nutrients from those plants and they get nourished. And this type of pattern of sucking of nutrients from other plants are called as parasitic way of nutrition. In plants also parasites are there. In animals like these mosquitoes, leeches, bugs and lices, and also different types of tapeworms, roundworms, they are present in our intestine. Almost all these are parasitic in nature, and this type of feeding mechanism is called as parasitic way of feeding mechanism. You know, if you see, if you observe different types of animals, especially cattle in our homes, and sheep and goats, and also cows and buffaloes, and also if you see in TV shows, especially in Discovery Channel or Animal Planet, certain organisms like deers, elephants, and different types of organisms, they are feeding only on veg material. They are taking plant material as their food, and those organisms are called as herbivorous in nature. They are only feeding on plants, and maximum of animal kingdom depends on plant as direct food material. You know, and this type of nutrition is called as herbivorous nutrition or herbivorous mode of nutrition. In the same manner, certain organisms, especially the dogs or fox, jackals, hyenas, leopards, cheetahs, tigers and lions, they hunt and they catch the prey and they suck the blood from the prey, and also they eat flesh directly into their mouth, and they depends directly on other organisms and they take flesh from those organisms through hunting. And this type of mechanism of feeding or this type of meat eaters are called as carnivorous, and this type of feeding mechanism is called as carnivorous type of nutrition. You know, in certain plants also carnivorous in nature, those we call as insectivorous. You know, in certain plants they have special type of trapping mechanism system through which they trap and they attract the insects and they trap and they kill the insects and get nourished. Because the nutrients in the soil, due to lack of nutrients in the soil, these plants are modifying and they are having different types of trapping mechanism to trap the insects and get nourished. Those plants are called as insectivorous plants. Example, Nepenthes, Utricularia, Drosera, Darlingtonia, all these plants are insectivorous in nature. They get nourished through this mechanism. Hence, this type of pattern of nutrition is called as carnivorous type of nutrition. You know, certain carnivores are also eating the same type of species. For example, crocodiles, they eat their own babies. Snakes like king cobra, it eats its own babies. You know, certain cats are also eating their own babies, and praying mantis, insects like praying mantis, and certain spiders are also eating their own species. This type of feeding is called as cannibalism. It is under carnivores. You know, in the same manner, certain organisms are feeding both type of veg material as well as non-veg materials. They take both type of plant as well as meat, and those organisms are called as omnivorous. You know, the bears, pigs or rats, squirrels, even ourselves human beings are under this omnivorous category, because we take both type of food materials, veg as well as non-veg. Hence we called as omnivorous in nature. You know, from saprophytic to omnivorous means saprophytic, parasitic, herbivorous, carnivorous and cannibals, even the omnivorous, all these patterns of nutrition or mode of intake of food material in animals under a broad category called as heterotrophs. and this mode of nutrition is called as heterotrophic nutrition, because hetero means others, trophic means nutrition. Those organisms does not have any capability to prepare their own food materials, and those depends on others for food materials are called as heterotrophs. Hence this type of pattern of nutrition is called as heterotrophic mode of nutrition. You know, in autotrophic mode of nutrition, plants making their own food material, but in heterotrophic mode of nutrition, animals depends on other organisms to feed themselves. Here, and by this observation, by this discussion in the mode of nutrition, we understand that plants are the major suppliers of food resources on this planet, because we directly or indirectly depends, animals or directly or indirectly depends on plants for their food requirements. We saw different types of nourishments and different mode of nutritions in different animals and plants. Now we see a special type of nutrition in which the one and only organism on this planet who eats anything or many type of foods, and you know, any guess? That is human beings. Yes, we are eating many type of varieties of food material. That's why we are peculiar in nature. That's why our brains are very unique due to intake of varieties of food materials makes us unique in the nature. That's why our brain have such a thinking ability due to intake of variety of amino acids, carbohydrates, vitamins, nutrients and different types of fibers, etc. Due to this variety of food makes us unique. You know, if you understand a complexity in the digestive system, we can understand a complex mechanism of intake of food and its digestion in human beings. You know, how many of you question that what happens after food is swallowed? No doubt, surely it will get digested. We can understand a complex mechanism of intake of food and its digestion in human digestive system. And in this digestive system, in this process, it gets involved different parts of the digestive system, and also it involves and its performance in various activities, and how the gastric juices and enzymes are involved in the process of digestion. You know, the intake of a simple substances into our mouth or intake of food material into our mouth is nothing but ingestion. You know, human beings are having taste buds. They are very conscious about the taste. That's why in this world we have different types of recipes and different types of food varieties, or we can see in different parts in this world. You know, in this digestive system, it extended from mouth to anus. This is also called as alimentary canal. And in this digestive system, the digestive system consisting of different types of digestive parts, and they are starting with mouth, buccal cavity, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, duodenum, small intestine, large intestine, rectum and anus. These are the parts of the digestive system. You know, from the food is entered into mouth and undigested matter defecated through anus or expelled through anus. And this long extended tube from mouth to anus, also called as alimentary canal. Technically or scientifically we called it as alimentary canal. You know, in our mouth what happens after taking of food into our mouth? It is cutted and it should be grinded by our teeth, and also the food is mixed with saliva in our mouth, and the tongue is twisting the entire food and it is mixing the food with our saliva. You know, in our mouth three salivary glands are present, three pairs of salivary glands are present. In saliva, there is an enzyme called amylase, which is also called as ptyalin, and this amylase breaks the carbohydrates into simple forms, simple sugars, and after mixing with this saliva, food gets a slippery form, and this should be enter, and this tongue is used to twisting the food, or it is pushing the food into the next part of the digestive system through esophagus through a wavy like movement called peristaltic movement. In stomach, what happens, the food mix are churned or grinding with gastric juices like HCl, and it forms into a slimy substance called as chyme, in which the pepsin is one of the enzyme present which breaks the protein material, and partial breakdown of proteins and fats occurs in the stomach. And after that, at the bottom of the stomach, a sphincter like structure which is called as pyloric sphincter, which allows small portion of the food into the small intestine through duodenum. In small intestine, it receives pancreatic juice from pancreas and bilirubin from liver. And here, the bilirubin, which does not consisting of any enzymes, and it emulsifies fats present in our food, and also the pancreatic juice, which consisting of trypsin and lipase, both are enzymes which are used to break down both proteins and fats at a time. And complete digestion occurs within the small intestine, in which the peptidase and sucrase also present. Those enzymes also breaks the complex remaining carbohydrates present in the food matter, because these enzymes work only the amylase or peptidases or sucrases which are related to carbohydrates, they are work only under basic condition, whereas in proteins they are the enzymes present in the stomach, they are acidic in nature. That is why the both actions are taking place at a time in the small intestine. In the small intestine, almost all the food get digested, and after that it enters into the large intestine, in which is finger like structure present on the walls of the large intestine. It absorbs the entire food. Those finger like structures are called as villi, and these villi are increasing the surface area of absorption of the food material. After getting digested, almost all the nutrients present in the digestive matter, these villi absorbs directly into the bloodstream, and they are mixing into the lymphatic system as well as circulatory system. After that, what happens, the entire food material which is undigested matter present in the large intestine, in which water is present, this water also absorbed by large intestine, and remaining undigested food is passes through anus to the outside. This process is called as defecation or defecation or egestion. This absorption process is called as assimilation. In complete digestive system, from starting mouth to anus, you observe that grinding of food material in the mouth and digestion in the stomach and absorption in the intestine, the entire process takes place in ingestion is nothing but intake of food in the mouth. Digestion means the breakdown of complex substances into simple forms occur in the stomach, and assimilation, that means complete digestive matter which is absorbed by intestine is nothing but assimilation, and waste material which is eliminated from the body through anus called defecation. This is the process of digestion in human beings. Students, almost all of us having different types of digestive problems. Elementary canal, from mouth to anus, this complete digestive system is working with digestive juices as well as enzymes. But what happens day to day life, the people are very busy with their work, and this busy world makes us to do everything in hurrying and worrying. Students, what keeps us healthy? Surely the food keeps us healthy. If we take the balanced diet, the diet which consisting of proper carbohydrates, proteins, fats, different types of vitamins and mineral salts and micronutrients and fibers rich food which avoids different types of problems, and all these materials, the balanced diet keeps us very healthy. Today maximum of us having different types of health problems, especially digestive related problems. you know Busy life makes us unhealthy. We are hurrying and worrying, even we are hurry in taking of meals, and also we are rushed from one activity to another activity without taking any rest, and all these conditions makes us unhealthy. And certain students, it is majorly due to lack of awareness, poor health conditions, or due to socio-economic factors or starvation. Almost all these conditions makes us unhealthy. And also, if you observe certain students or maximum of us who are picking various types of ingredients from our curry, especially the student community of you, in your box, in your carry, in your lunch, what you are doing from your curry, you are picking curry leaves, seeds, mustard seeds, even tomatoes or onion, and different types of ingredients present in your curry. You are picking some like this, and you are hating those ingredients. And how many of us hate milk and eggs, or how many of us like the junk food or fast food or canned food like pizzas, burgers, noodles, and also different types of bakery items and also soft drinks. And most of us like those items, and most of us hate the milk or different types of fruits and different types of vegetables as well as eggs also. What happens if we hate those ingredients in our curry? What happens if we ate these items? What happens if we like those items? What happens to us if we skip a meal for a time? What happens if we eat more than we required? We are facing a lot of problem in our digestive system, especially these lack of nutrients may cause number of diseases. Students, and this may leads to malnourishment. Malnutrition means lack of one or more than one nutrient in required amount by our body is nothing but malnourishment. Malnourishment is nothing but lack of intake of nutrients in our food is nothing but malnutrition. And this malnutrition is very high in our India, especially in the below the age group of 5 years. In the children, this malnourishment is observed, and also this malnourishment is occurred due to various types of nutrient intake of nutrients, especially this is due to lack of proteins in the diet. It leads to kwashiorkor, and lack of proteins as well as carbohydrates in the diet, it leads to marasmus. And due to intake of over nutrients like pizzas, burgers, high rich in fat, it leads to obesity. And it may leads to various types of problems in our body like diabetes or heart problems or by nervous disorders. Almost all these diseases occurs only due to lack of intake of nutrients in our food. Hence, students, don't waste food and don't pick or don't hate this natural diet. If you hate all these ingredients from your curry, what happens, it leads to nutrient deficiency or vitamin deficiency in the food. It leads to various types of diseases like pellagra, anemia, glossitis, nervous disorders, rickets, skin and eye disorders, and blood clotting, beriberi, burning feet, scurvy, and also fertility disorders in adults. Almost all these diseases are occur only due to deficiency of these vital elements like vitamins and minerals in the food. Hence, don't pick those ingredients from your curry and don't waste the food directly. And if we take the natural diet, almost all these vitamins will be available in our food. And students, don't hate natural food and don't like the junk food. The vitamins like the fat soluble vitamins are there, water soluble vitamins are there, and these vitamins are very important, and in our diet we have to maintain all these vitamins through balanced diet. We have to take proper amount of carbohydrates, proteins, fats, and also vitamins and different types of mineral salts and micronutrients and fibers rich food are very important to maintain the complete health. Hence, don't hate natural diet or balanced diet. And we heterotrophs, not like autotrophs, we must depend on others. We must get food only from other like plant or as well as animal material. Hence, don't waste food. It's the life of many. In India, 6 crores tons of food material is wasted every year. It nearly costs about 1 lakh crores of rupees. On one hand, we are wasting lot of money as well as lot of food material. On another hand, one of the statistics shown that about 194 million people in India alone, they are severely hunger. Even they are not able to take a meal per a day. Such a wastage occur and such a hunger also present. And students, think, don't waste food. It's the life of many, and by wasting the food, don't curse someone's life by wasting the food. And we don't have any right to waste the food because the food is gifted by the nature. I think gifts are very precious. Good food and good health is very important, and natural food and natural health is very required for the society. Thanks to one and all students. We will meet again. Bye.